All right, let's jump right into this. Today, we're embarking on a highly structured journey through one of the absolute most enigmatic regions on Earth. Consider this your in-depth explainer of 5 completely mind-bending, documented mysteries of the Himalayas. We're going to examine the physical evidence, unpack the ancient legends, and look at the frankly baffling anomalies hidden deep within the snow. So, let's get started.
Okay, let's dive into this outline. We have 5 distinct chapters to explore today. Section 1 is the Himalayan Enigma. Section 2, Gyanganj and Spiritual Realms. Section 3 covers the Immortal Sadhus. Section 4 dives into unclimbed peaks and UFOs. And finally, Section 5 is all about tracking the elusive Yeti.
Section 1. The Himalayan Enigma, Uncharted Territory and Mystical Phenomena.
You know, when most of us picture the Himalayas, Mount Kailash is probably the very first thing that comes to mind, right? But this mountain range is almost unimaginably vast. Even with all our modern technology and advanced satellite mapping, a staggering 20% of the Himalayas remains completely unexplored. I mean, that is a massive expanse of totally uncharted territory, and it perfectly sets the stage for why so many mysteries, unexplained phenomena, and undocumented creatures can just exist, staying entirely hidden within the unforgiving ice.
For example, take a look at what happened in 2015. A Tibetan monk, Lama Thubten, entered a deep 7-day meditative state. And over this period, photographic evidence allegedly showed his physical body slowly shrinking, literally day by day. Now, Dr. Isaac Hasanov, a renowned expert in mind-body medicine, explains this as a 10,000-year-old meditative practice. The theory here is that the monk's body actively merges with the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And ultimately, the physical form dissolves entirely, leaving behind nothing but a ray of light. This isn't just some magic trick. It's believed to be a very real method for these monks to detach from their physical bodies and travel as light into a completely different realm of reality.
Section 2. Gyanganj and Spiritual Realms, the Hidden Entrance.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept of spiritual travel is where it supposedly leads. It brings us to Gyanganj. This is described as a highly secretive spiritual realm. In Buddhist and Hindu legends, you'll also hear it called Siddhashram, Shangri-La, or the Kingdom of Shambhala. But here's the kicker. Despite decades of intense global search efforts, this realm remains entirely undetectable by modern satellite technology. It's an absolute geographical anomaly that just refuses to be mapped.
And if you think this is just local folklore, we just have to look at history to see how seriously it's been taken. Back in 1920, the U.S. actually sponsored an expedition led by Nicholas and Helena Roerich to find this very realm. In 1921, the couple mysteriously disappeared for 12 straight months. And keep in mind, they were actively being tracked by Soviet, British, and American intelligence agencies the whole time. When they finally resurfaced, their diaries revealed something incredible. Nicholas wrote about a monk leading them through a remote valley to a stone-covered cave entrance. The monk explicitly told them this was the physical gateway to Gyanganj, but he firmly forbade them from actually entering.
But the Roerich story doesn't even end there. On their second expedition in 1933, they met a spiritual leader who gifted them a piece of a truly legendary artifact, the Chintamani stone. This wasn't just some souvenir for the mantelpiece. It's believed that possessing even a single piece of this stone acts as a literal physical key, allowing a spiritually aware person to cross the threshold into Gyanganj. It's famously known as the land of immortal beings, a place where ancient, ageless masters supposedly guide chosen disciples to ultimate enlightenment.
Section 3. The Immortal Sadhus, Centuries of Meditation.
So, could some of these ancient, ageless masters actually be roaming the physical mountains? Picture this scenario. It's 1942. Western Command Officer L.P. Farrell is out in the Himalayas for a picnic. He'd been invited by the king of Kumaon. It is 3:30 in the morning and the camp is dead silent. Suddenly, Farrell hears a voice ring out completely clearly in the darkness, saying, "You must move from here. If you want to understand my instructions, come to the mountain opposite."
Naturally, Farrell was deeply unsettled, but he felt totally compelled to act. He followed that voice out into the night and eventually stumbled upon a shadowy figure, this simple yet entirely divine-looking sadhu. And what is astonishing is that this sadhu already knew Farrell's name. When the man gently placed a hand on Farrell's back, this massive surge of energy transferred to him, completely and instantly eradicating his exhaustion and a severe headache he'd been fighting. Farrell shared this miraculous encounter with a weekly paper back in 1959, and he noted one lingering mystery. How on earth did he hear the sadhu's voice so clearly and so loudly all the way back at his campsite?
And guys,
This isn't just some old story from the 1940s. Just recently, renowned author Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai shared an extraordinary experience from his own modern-day Himalayan journey. While traveling with his spiritual mentor, they met a sadhu. Dr. Pillai explicitly overheard this ascetic making a seemingly impossible claim to his mentor. He flat out said, "I have been meditating here for 400 years." It really begs the question, right? Are these the immortal beings of Gyanganj, just quietly wandering the frozen peaks?
Section 4. Unclimbed Peaks and UFOs. The Mystery of Gyanghar Puensum.
7,570 meters. That is the soaring height of Gyanghar Puensum, located right on the border of China and Bhutan. To this day, it holds the official title of the highest unclimbed mountain in the entire world. Nobody has ever reached the top. But the reasons why it remains unclimbed, well, that's where things get truly strange.
And this brilliantly illustrates the clash between deep local tradition and wild modern conspiracy. On one hand, according to Bhutanese local beliefs, this mountain is profoundly sacred. It's viewed as a literal dwelling place of the gods. To preserve its spiritual purity and keep negative energy away, the government enacted a partial climbing ban in 1994, which became a full, very strict ban by 2004. However, conspiracy theorists argue a totally different narrative. They believe extraterrestrials have established active alien bases right on the summit, and they claim the government's strict climbing bans are actually just designed to protect these outposts from public discovery.
Whether you look at this through a spiritual lens or an extraterrestrial one, the physical reports are incredibly hard to ignore. Locals have continuously reported seeing mysterious lights and silver disc-like UFOs hovering right around Gyanghar Puensum. But again, this isn't just some modern internet phenomenon. If we go all the way back to the 1920s expedition diaries of Nicholas and Helena Roerich, yep, the same couple searching for Gyanganj, they explicitly documented anomalous UFO sightings in the exact same region. Furthermore, very similar unexplained lights have been frequently spotted near Mount Kailash and Mansarovar Lake. Something is definitely happening up there.
Section 5. Tracking the Elusive Yeti, Myths and Footprints.
Now we move from the skies back to the snow, looking at the most famous cryptid in the world. So the crucial point here is that the perception of the Yeti varies wildly depending on who you actually ask. For many Nepalese and Bhutanese locals, the Yeti is considered a terrible omen. Simply laying eyes on one is believed to bring immense bad luck. But entirely contradicting this is a claim from a highly respected spiritual figure, Yogi Madhakunarth. He states that Yetis are actually benevolent, highly evolved creatures who actively assist and even heal travelers in need.
And Yogi Madhakunarth's claim isn't just a theory. It comes from a very direct, first-hand experience. While he was en route to Mount Kailash, he was suddenly struck with a severe, debilitating fever. In the dead of midnight, a huge, furry creature entered his room. But instead of attacking him, the creature fed the yogi a specific curative herb, which instantly broke his fever. When the yogi later recounted this whole crazy ordeal to his guru, the guru confirmed that his midnight visitor was indeed a Yeti, entirely defying the creature's mainstream, monstrous reputation.
And we aren't just dealing with folklore here. We have a compelling timeline of physical evidence to look at. Global fame for Yeti stories really took off in the 1920s. By the 1950s, esteemed British explorer Eric Shipton captured clear images of abnormally large footprints on Mount Everest. But let's look at the absolute most shocking piece of modern evidence. In 2019, an official Indian Army expedition photographed 50 massive footprints trailing near the Makalu base camp in Nepal. These footprints measured a staggering 3.5 feet in length.
So what does this all mean? It leaves us with this final, profound question. Are these the footprints of a mythical, immortal creature acting as a guardian of the snow? Or simply a massive, completely undiscovered animal roaming that 20% of the Himalayas we have yet to explore? Honestly, the Himalayas challenge absolutely everything we think we know about history, spirituality, and science. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope these stories have sparked your curiosity to look deeper into the unknown. Until next time, keep questioning what lies just beyond the map.